Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Well, how about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 250 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Instagram, live on X, and for our audio podcast listeners, thank you so much for listening to How About That Cigar when you drive down the road, when you work out, whatever it is you do when you listen to your favorite audio podcast. Thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation.
You forgot one social media.
What did I forget?
TikTok.
Well, we're not live on TikTok.
We're not live. But
You can find us on TikTok.
Find us there.
And you definitely should, but we're not live on TikTok. They don't like cigars on TikTok. I'm learning more and more.
No one likes cigars. It's not for us.
We do.
We love
We
cigars.
do. And as you can see on the screen, click on all those big, beautiful buttons. The like button, the subscribe button, the follow button, the bell, all the things. Basically, if it's a button related to How About That Cigar, click on it. Because
we love it and we appreciate it.
Absolutely. And that means you won't miss any content that we have going on. Justin.
Would you join us?
As we all know and love, Justy Smoke. He's hiding. Don't hide. Be with us. And are you crouching down in the tobacco leaves in that beautiful tobacco field?
Out of the tobacco field. And whatever other field you want to put behind me. Let's go.
Whatever other kind of green field maybe.
Yeah, I like green. Green's a good color.
Green is your color.
It is.
Green
Actually,
is your
it's black
color.
if you can't tell. But,
Well, yeah.
So we're going to start the sports PS right away with my Yankees going 2-8 in the last 10 games.
Yeah. But they're going to be fine.
Is that a broom I see over there?
They're going to.
Oh, they sweep the Twins. I wish they play the Twins all the time. They'd be.
No, if the only team that the Yankees ever played was the Twins, then the Yankees would never, ever lose.
No.
Wow.
The Yankees have been on kind of a losing streak. The Twins have been on kind of a winning streak.
Yeah.
But you don't have anything to worry about with your New York Yankees.
Somebody better start batting and somebody better start pitching.
Well,
or somebody can get their ass whooped.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it. They're going to be all right. You know, it's July 1st. They're going to be all right.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
And honestly, I mean, from a sports perspective, that's really all we have to talk about. Hockey season's over.
Yep.
NBA season's over.
Yep.
NFL season hasn't started yet.
Well, maybe we need to find some new cool sports that go on around this.
But there was a big trade today.
There was a big
trade, or he left. Somebody left one of the LA teams.
Oh, I could
look it up, but I could give a shit.
I couldn't tell you. I like Justin's idea. Come up with some new sports to like ESPN the Ocho. Like we'll cover dodgeball and like cornhole.
Cornhole.
You know what's going on? You know what's going on? Our friend Omar has got me watching freaking soccer.
You're watching soccer now?
The real football?
The real football.
Easy.
Ooh.
There's only fucking 3 feet of table in between us.
Well, compared to it, for a Jets fan, you should think anything other than American football is real football. If you're a Jets fan,
how many championships the Vikings won in that?
I'm not. I'm not a Vikings fan. I don't give two craps about the Vikings. So,
but there's, I guess, the European Cup going on,
yes,
and there's the America Cup going on.
Yeah, I've barely started paying attention to soccer in the last couple of years.
What about banana ball? Banana ball looks fun.
Banana ball.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
I mean,
is that where we get some bananas?
Thomas Darling, he knows what's going
banana ball. Okay. I need Thomas. You got to send links. I need to know.
Investigate this banana ball.
Yeah, send YouTube links. I need to know what the hell banana ball is all about. Unless it's something Weird. Then, see, we're being trolled. We haven't even brought our special guest on the
geez,
show.
look at
We're
this
being
guy.
trolled already.
Oh man,
I don't blame him.
I think he's ready.
I'm very excited to get this guy on the show. But no.
Savannah Bananas. Let's go.
Oh,
okay.
Savannah Bananas. Well, yeah, I've seen them. They're like a minor league baseball team in Savannah, Georgia. And
Is that the one that dance? They
dance and
they throw them,
get guys on stilts. And I would love to go see a game because I've heard it's an absolute.
Are you
blast.
sleeping yet, Michael?
Don't sleep because you're about to come on the show.
Who
Because
is our guest?
sports talk is over.
So let's get our guest on.
Absolutely. It is time to get our special guest on the show. I almost skipped over Spirit of Mystery. Spirit of Mystery brought to us by Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry. All right, Spirit of Mystery this week looks to be a beautiful it's a beautiful spirit. I'll give it a little smell. All right, it smells like a bourbon.
Sorry, Michael, we got to pay the bills.
It smells like a bourbon. It's interesting, though. There's something a little unique going on there.
Uniqueness is good.
I kind of like it. All right, a little taste. All right, I know what this is.
You think you know what it is?
You think you know what it is?
You think you know what it is?
I think I know what that is.
Okay.
You think you know
because we'll talk about it later.
All right,
but,
let's get Michael on here before he leaves us.
Yeah, let's get our special guest on the show. And as always on How About That Cigar Live, special guest brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. Following the resounding success of Blackened Cigars M81 Maduro, Drew Estate announced the new Blackened S84 Shade 2 Black. Wrapped in a luxurious Connecticut Ecuador cover leaf, the experience of this expression is distinctly different from the original M81 Maduro, while still retaining its foundational qualities due to the Connecticut broadleaf Maduro binder and filler leaves from Pennsylvania and Nicaragua. Presented in elegantly designed 20-count boxes, Blackened S84 Shade to Black by Drew Estate is available in Robusto, Toro, Corona Doble, and Corona. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and help us welcome back to the show, this time episode 250 of How About That Cigar Live, from Ferio Tego, Michael Herklots. Welcome back to the show, brother.
What's happening?
It is a beautiful, beautiful night here.
How you doing?
In sunny Minnesota.
Am I on all right? Can you hear me? Signal's good? Volume's good?
What?
Oh, the crowd is cheering so loud. We're having a hard time. Okay, they're dying down a little bit now. All right, we're good now.
What's up, fellas?
It is great to see you, man. How you been?
Everything is great, man. I'm happy to be on with you guys.
Absolutely.
Been a while.
It has been a minute and a half. I mean, we had the little short visit at PCA, but that's great. But it's, these long conversations, on random Monday night, throughout the year. That's where we really dive into the, the marrow of things.
Yes. The marrow.
So no secret. You're one of my favorite people in the business. And I've been dying to get you on the show since I've been on the show. I know you've been on plenty of times before, but all that shit before I came on doesn't matter.
Well, congrats on officially being part of the show. I'm pumped to be on with you guys, man. And congrats on 250.
Oh man, thank you so much. It's a
big number.
It's a big number. It's been a journey, but man, we even with the the bumps on the roller coaster, wouldn't change a thing. Those
got to go through the bumps as part of the ride. Come on, it ain't no roller coaster without any bumps.
That's right. That's exactly
the bumps are important, man.
Yeah.
They build character.
Yeah. So, brother, you gotta. I mean, one of the things that I love that you shared with us at the PCA a few months ago was, that a lot of times, the trade show is about people focusing on what's new. And I really appreciate the fact that you said, we're new, Ferio Tego's new. And I appreciate the fact that, because sometimes people, even just a couple years into some new adventure, any new business venture, sometimes, it can be easy for any of us to maybe get a little too ahead of ourselves. And I really appreciate that you've got you know, you've got drive, but you also have, you know, mixed with what I estimate to be the right amount of humility, where you're like, hey, we're still new. We're still working our way through this thing, figuring out what we need to do, what we, you know, all the little pieces of the puzzle. So I really appreciate that from you. So give us a little insight, you know, being literally halfway through the year. How's 2024 going so far for Föto?
It's going great. I mean, you know, I appreciate you saying that. This is month 33. Anyone who believes that 33 months is a mature business is just kidding themselves. It's not. It's a new business. If you think of it in terms of humans, you know, 33 months is barely walking and talking. So, you know, we have achieved a lot in a relatively short amount of time, but we still have a great deal of work left to do to get Föto ultimately where I would like it to be. But I'm very proud of the work so far. You know, it's obviously no surprise. I think 2024 is a challenge for everybody, every business, every person. There's just 2024 has been a lot. But, you know, as I really like to say, I don't think there is a 33-month-old brand in the industry that is where we are. So I'm really proud of what we've accomplished, and I'm really looking forward to, you know, a exciting, bright future, man.
Yeah.
Michael, the company's only been around for 33 months, but you've been in the business for a while. Tell us how long and with what other companies, for those viewers that don't know who you are and how in your past.
Yeah, if you don't, you can go back and watch an old How About That Cigar episode, because there's been plenty. But I have been in the premium cigar industry 25 years this year. I started in retail in Boston at a place called the Humidor, and then the Gloucester Street Cigar Company. Then I moved to New York in 2002, worked for Davidoff of Geneva in New York City, first as a sales associate, then ultimately as general manager of retail in New York for my last 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. And then I left Davidoff to join Nat Sherman in 2011, where we worked really hard at rebranding our retail experience into the Townhouse experience. We introduced a new brand called the Timeless Collection, which kind of ushered in the new and what ultimately became the final era of Nat Sherman. And then in 2021, we announced Föto. We're distributed by Davidoff USA throughout the United States. And, you know, we're off to the races.
Nice. Let's go around the horn and talk about what everybody's smoking. Michael, let's start with you. What did you fire up this evening?
I am smoking the Föto Suma Torpedo. We introduced the Suma about exactly 1 year ago, last July. I'm smoking it in the Torpedo size. We just recently introduced it in the Toro size. But it's such a versatile blend. You can smoke it early. You can smoke it late. I actually had one this morning too. I just love it. So Suma for me.
Very nice. Justin, what are you smoking?
I went with the Pan Americana.
Very nice.
Timeless here.
Very nice.
With my 1919 as usual.
As usual. We should get a sponsorship from 1919.
We should. That's the next one.
Raleigh, what are you smoking?
I am smoking the Timeless Prestige. Come on, baby.
There we go.
Ooh.
Wait, is that the perfect? That's the Davino's killer.
Yeah. And I'm gonna fire up
And a Rosso.
There I am.
There you go.
There. Föto.
We're still learning what
yeah,
we're
this
doing here.
this
Let's go back over there. We're good.
there we go. See, this is how it's done.
That's
Föto Generoso. And I'm gonna fire that up right now
That's
on
2023.
that is 2023, sir.
Awesome.
And thank you so much for
Which that is the current release.
Yeah. I'm going to fire it up right now on the Cigar Toast Cam. Cigar is the leading accessory brand for cigars with innovative butane lighters cigar cutting instruments, travel cases, and humidors. Each product is designed and manufactured with the utmost precision and attention to detail. The result is a range of products that exude quality and refinement, reflecting the brand's dedication to excellence. For more information, please visit zycar.com.
What you guys don't notice is every time he does that, I kind of mess with him a little bit, but he doesn't break it. He just straight professional.
What do you do to try to mess with me? I don't see what's.
Sometimes I blow smoke right in your face.
I swear to God, I'd never even noticed that.
He's so focused.
So I'm like, okay, I got to read what's on the screen and not burn the shit out of the end of the cigar and look like a complete amateur. So, it's
a delicate balance.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. So Michael, one of the things that I'm curious about from you specifically, because you've got a lot of time in the industry and in different kind of parts of the industry. And, there's stories throughout the year of things that go on in the cigar industry. It could be, some brands moves their production to a different factory, or somebody changes their branding and their packaging, or, there's mergers and acquisitions and all this kind of stuff. How much, obviously you've got a lot on your plate. You're very busy with just, making sure Ferio Tego becomes the brand that you want it to be. Do you spend a lot of time like listening to or watching the shifting sands in the cigar industry, or do you try to just focus on what Ferio Tego is doing?
When most of my career, I was also in retail, and when you're in retail, I think there's a real responsibility to keep your finger on the pulse of industry, understanding what's happening with all the brands and all the companies. Since Ferio Tego, though, I really find myself thinking more like an artist, thinking more the way I used to think when I was pursuing music, where sometimes when you're paying so much attention to what other people are doing, you start chasing ghosts and you don't stay true to your work and your philosophy and your goals. It's very easy to become distracted, and that's not something I'm willing to do, especially this early on. So, I certainly pay attention, but I'm not going out of my way to stay up to date on every little decision and detail that every brand and company is doing. I feel like it's just it sucks up too much of my time, and frankly, I've been on the road so much. I've been traveling so crazy the last couple of years, man. I have to stay focused on the things that matter most, and after my family, that's my company.
So, Michael, since we had a further question, but you brought it up now. How do you balance that, the road and the family?
Terribly. I do an awful job. I'm failing at that balance. But fortunately, I have tremendously understanding, supportive, and loving wife and children. And they are rooting for Ferio Tego as much as we are. And so they understand what the task is at hand right now. And, they're very understanding and they're very supportive. And I try really hard to prioritize when I'm home to be home. And I try to make as many of the games and the concerts and the stuff that I possibly can. And so far, so good. I think I've missed one performance each. And they were, smaller performances. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good. We're trying to schedule some vacation and maintain our family traditions. But there's wind at our back and there's wind in the sails of Ferio Tego. That is a very unique position to be in, and that is not one to take for granted. And, we've been very fortunate to have Davidoff USA as our distribution partner, but the consequence of that successful partnership is national distribution quickly. And so that means that, there's a lot of hands to shake and hugs to give and in some cases, a lot of thank yous to express, and in other cases, a plea for consideration. We just have to keep doing it all.
Yeah.
Michael, let me see your wrist.
My wrist?
Yeah. You're missing something.
What's-
PCA, you had the bracelets from your daughters on both your wrists.
Oh, that's because I'm home.
Yeah.
So you only wear this when you're on the road?
Those are my good luck charms from the kids.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I wear them sometimes when I'm at home, mine from my kids, but I don't wear them all the time usually it's just when I'm away.
My kids don't like me anymore.
Your kids like you. Stop that.
They just like my money.
That's part of it. Well, and part of that, Michael, is, having, a lot of times business, when people start talking about business and, even though cigars are a little different, it's still a business. And, we hear so much about, business partnerships, retail partnerships, sales partners, this and that and the other thing. But the most important, it really starts at home, in my mind, at least. And I want your thoughts on that. Like having a supportive partner at home and a supportive family that, sees the goals that you want to achieve professionally, and how that professional success can and will translate into, success for the family and, better way of life, however you want to put it, keeping a roof over the head and meals on the table, it's there.
I mean, look, first of all, I am very fortunate to have a very hardworking wife who has a great career.
Yeah.
And she has a demanding job, and so we're in constant balance mode. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for having that support system at home. But there's also a lot to be said about kind of leaving work at work. And I'm a big believer that, generally speaking, when my work day is done, I'm done. Like, I don't stay up till 2 a.m. on a laptop, trying to work on something, unless it's really mission critical. I really try and separate work is work, home is home. And except for, turning this thing on every hour and seeing what's happening and, trying to stay up to speed in real time, generally I separate.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you that it's that is something that, I mean, I know I've struggled with in my professional life, is leaving the leaving the work, just setting those. I've struggled setting those boundaries from time to time.
And sometimes it can't be done. I mean,
yeah, sometimes.
I'm not throwing shade on people who have to, work all hours. I'm fortunate enough that I usually don't, and I really try not to.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a big difference. And I like what you said earlier, kind of going back to, the whole thing about, seeing and keeping up with, sort of the goings on in the cigar industry and things like that. And how I love, being a fellow musician, love, that you tend to always analogize, in that way that you're familiar with. That you have that musical background. Especially
now that I'm so focused on the creative side. I mean, you see it, in these trends of products and trends of events and trends of you can just watch the copying. It's not even an inspiration. A lot of times it's blatant copying. And, how is that really truly rewarding as an artist?
Right.
And maybe it's, it's certainly different based on maturity of company, scale of the business. It's, I think the larger a company gets, corporatized it becomes, the more marketing becomes a part of the system, and it must be in order to continue to scale. So again, not a criticism, but at this point in our growth, I have to apply a musician's discipline to our work.
Yeah.
So do any of your children have that passion for music like you do?
Not for music the way I do. We also didn't beat it in them either. I mean, we've allowed our kids to try anything they want to try, and so my oldest does have a real affection for art, less musical and more visual. My youngest has a great affection for performing, but she seems to be more into dance and gymnastics than theater and singing. But both are very musically inclined. They have amazing pitch, great rhythm. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So you have 2 girls and I have 4 girls. I know how much they've changed me. Has it changed you having daughters? I suppose we don't know how do we change having boys, but have you seen a change in your personality, how you present yourself, or how you even talk to your kids because they're girls?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, it's tough to know how different I would be, but I think there's something really special about having girls. It's a delicate balance of trying to be compassionate now while they're young, but also wanting to make sure that you have girls that are tough and smart and aware and confident. It's a very delicate balance, I think. And my oldest is approaching middle school, and with that comes a whole new world of challenges. So I'm sure they will continue to change me.
Yeah.
I'd like to give you a little tidbit of advice. When they get to a certain age, no matter what you do, you're going to be the bad guy. Just letting you know that.
Oh, okay.
All 4 of them were like that. No matter what age they got a certain age where I'm the asshole no matter what. But they get through that. 3-4 years, they pass that, and they realize how wonderful of a dad we are.
Hey, there you go.
So just my little advice to you.
Good one.
Well, one of the things that I want to kind of expand on a little bit, and Michael, you were talking about, people in the industry, cigar industry specifically, sometimes you see, copying and so on and so forth. And I did forever ago. I taught some after I took my own insane amount of classes. I taught some songwriting classes, and one of the things that I said to the students, which was sort of paraphrased from one of my former teachers, was, that old cliche that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but plagiarism isn't. And part of that goes into what we were talking about a little bit before we went on the air, is that we see sometimes, and this could be true in industries other than cigars, but obviously we're going to focus on cigars and not naming anybody, but sometimes you see people in the industry that it almost seems like, I guess I'll preface it with one of the things we appreciate about you, and we know a lot of people who also appreciate about you, is that you're always you. And, even sitting here smoking a cigar, in your home with a polo shirt on, you're just Michael. And the same is true whether you're at an event at a fancy wine bar and you're wearing a $5,000 suit, you're still Michael. No matter what, it's not a costume. That's who you are. Mm-hmm. And there's some people that you see in this industry and some other industries that you can just tell that they're wearing a costume.
Are you telling me I can't tell that?
You're wearing a costume, Raul. You got to be you. No. So, but you can tell that there's that kind of lack of, authenticity, that they're wearing a costume in order to try to portray a certain image or a certain vibe with the brand that they want to convey and things like that. But you are who you are. And that really kind of sings through the brand Ferriotego and the way you've, even as you said, just 33 months in, you've established a vibe with your brand and kind of a sound to your brand. And that really reflects you, because you just are, the genuine, no matter what day of the week.
And that goes back to. So imitation's the greatest form of flattery. Yes. But I also, if I think of it musically, I think of all the drummers I've studied. I don't want to sound like any of them. I want to sound like me. And it's the same with the stories that our cigars tell. I don't want to tell someone else's story. I want to tell our story.
Yeah.
But obviously, I have been inspired by many other stories and many other cigars over the years, and I've been so fortunate to have such great mentors and teachers and people willing to share their story and share their knowledge to make me better at my craft. But when it comes time to actually execute my work, I want to make sure it's mine. I really want it to stand out. And that's like any original artist, that really is the challenge, because it's not pop. I'm not putting something out that is trending already, and I want to just participate in this moment.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. It's original work, and that's much harder to develop your audience because it takes a lot longer, and it's a much more intimate performance, especially in the early years, until you really start to develop that fan base that appreciates just how unique your sound is.
Yeah. Well, and one of those things, and you guys, this is it's just the musical piece. I keep going back to it, but like talking about not necessarily an original composition, but let's say there's huge risks involved, because like, let's say somebody takes A Night in Tunisia, for example, and somebody takes that song, famous Dizzy Gillespie tune, and it's been a storied jazz standard forever. But somebody takes that tune and they're like, I just want to give this, I want it still to be Night in Tunisia, but I want to give it a completely different spin and sound, while still maintaining the core elements of it. And it's sometimes people could take chances, and I deeply admire them that take those risks, but sometimes it can fall flat and it just doesn't quite work out. So
you can't force.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, that's a great example. We're going to lose half the audience here talking about Night in Tunisia.
No, they love it. I think,
that song can be played so many different ways. And, you have its classic arrangement that is Latin to jazz, or Latin to swing, basically. But, I can remember I've played that in 7.
Jeez.
So not even in regular time. And, as long as you have to be able to answer the question, why? Why are you innovating this in such a way? And does it work? And you have to be willing to recognize when it doesn't. And I really think the same is true for blends. Use Costa Rica, for example. Two of you are enjoying, one of you is enjoying Panamericana.
Yeah.
That is Costa Rican in the filler. Well, Costa Rican is kind of that's like a trendy word now. People like to use Costa Rican. Well, I didn't set out to use Costa Rican. We set out to create a blend that was unique. And through the process of creating blends and integrating other tobaccos to create a full story, Costa Rican was one of the ingredients that we used back in 2014 when that blend was created. But now you see people leading with this Costa Rica messaging because it's trending. Same with price. You know, if you have a press release and the price is in the subject of your press release, well, it seems to me that you're announcing the least important bit, at least from a creative standpoint. You know, if your press release is, we're very pleased to launch $100 cigar or $1,000 cigar. Well, why? You know, I mean, tell me that story.
Excellent.
Tell me that story of why, and then make me say, well, how much is it? And if it's 100, then I'm going to ask you, why is it 100, or why is it 1,000, or why? And then it's up to me to determine. But if you're leading your messaging with something like that, it just seems so contrary to the spirit of creating something great and unique.
Yeah, and that's such an excellent point, because the why that you mentioned, that goes into the same kind of notion that we were talking about earlier of the sort of like wearing a costume. It's like, why are you wearing what you're wearing? Why does the packaging on your cigars look the way it looks? Why do
It's
the
also why I
bands
stopped paying attention, honestly, because I just started getting angry.
Okay.
I mean, when I see, I've been around too long. I'm a 44-year-old man, but when you've been in the industry for 25 years, you know, I have old man eyes for this business. And so it's not just that I know how to make sausage. I know how everyone makes their sausage.
Yeah.
And so when I see people, or I see brands, or I see companies, and I can see through them, and I know that there is a lie, whether it's a lie in the marketing, a lie in pricing or value, a lie in the character that they're trying to portray. It makes me so angry, because I've been so fortunate to have such genuine, authentic mentors and teachers, you know, generations after generation after generation of hardworking people who have just paved that road a little bit smoother and a little bit smoother, and gave me a wider, smoother path upon which I can contribute my piece to this legacy of an industry.
Yeah.
To then see people, you know, suggest that they've invented the road, the wheel, you know,
I think we're talking about the same company, by the way.
Well, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, that's why I can't keep watching press release after press release of things that I just know can't be true, aren't true, shouldn't be true. And so I just need to stay focused on being authentic to me, making sure that I can answer my own whys when I have to. And whether I'm in a suit, whether I'm in a polo, you know, if I'm drinking beer, drinking wine, drinking club soda, it's all, what you see is what you get. Bro, I just posted a video hula hooping.
I saw.
And I can't tell you.
That was so great.
And I really debated whether to do it. And I thought, you know, this woman, Holly, she's in Florida. She's a great cigar smoker. She's so good for our culture. And she posted this video and said, wouldn't it be funny if? And I thought to myself, is this on brand? Is this on brand for the owner of Ferio Tego to hula hoop in a t-shirt in his backyard? And I'm like, well, why not? You know, and I got a lot of shit for it. I mean, I had people messaging me on the side, you should take this down. I was like, you know what? You should start a cigar company.
Yeah.
You know, but why not? You know what I mean? Like every time I second guess for a moment what feels authentic, I'm trading my authenticity for something else. Yeah. And, you know, I did not grow up. Well, I shouldn't say that. I did grow up in this industry, but I was not raised in this industry. I didn't inherit some legacy of handmade premium cigars. I am the sum parts of my 44 years. what you see is what you get.
Well, and
So
I
hula hooping it was.
I love the fact that because part of the authenticity is that you, in addition to that, you can be just as at home in a luxury space as you can in, hula hooping in your backyard. But that's because you just have this air of like joy and irreverence that goes along with the things that you do. And that's part of authenticity. And I think other people, I think it's possible that we could see other people try the same hula hoop thing. But again, you can see it from a mile away. If somebody's just doing it because they're trying to get clicks or they're trying to get likes or.
Well, I got neither clicks nor likes.
And you don't care. That's what I love about it is you're just like, I'm just having fun. Let's just, why can't we just laugh and smile a little bit while we're, trying to be so serious making cigars? It's like, let's just laugh a little bit.
Listen, this is intended to bring joy.
Yeah.
That's its sole purpose, is to bring joy. And it does require serious work. This is a job. It's not just fun. It's serious work. But if we're trying to deliver joy to people, well, we should be doing that all the time, whether they're smoking or not. I mean, so what the hell? Hula hooping. I can't say I'm going to do it again, but it's still up. I didn't take it down.
No, don't take it down. Screw them. Yeah. So the serious work thing that leads into a question that we talked, kind of a multifaceted question we talked through before you came on. But so there's so many different aspects to brand ownership, and so I'll go through some of them and we can repeat them if need be. But so like one aspect is the initial setup, the very beginning of the company, like the ones and zeros, making sure there's enough money to get things started, making sure there's relationships with that kind of thing. And then you've got factory relationships, you got distribution, you got marketing, you've got sales, you've got building your core team, you've got consumer engagement, and you've got
the wardrobe.
But of all those aspects of brand ownership, and if you have others that you want to throw in there that I didn't name, please go for it. Which is there one of those that you think a lot of people don't pay enough attention to, but you think is vital?
And you excel at?
Well, I think you hit, you mentioned a lot of points. The one additional one I would throw in there that just stands out is there's also a lot of legal work.
Okay.
A ton, especially from an intellectual property standpoint, just trademarking, protecting your marks, seeing who else is getting close. So we use Timeless for an example. I mean, we spend an incredible amount of time and money protecting Timeless and making sure that people aren't getting cute. So I would add that. The question was, the second part was, what do I excel at? But what did you say was, which one do I?
Which ones do you see a lot of companies maybe not paying enough attention to, but you think is vital? In your experience, is vital.
Especially in 2024, post boom of 2021, there is a lot of inventory in the pipeline. There are a lot of retailers with full humidors, and I think where we really over deliver is value. Everyone is a consumer. If we think of all the things that we spend our money on, no one wants to spend more than what something is worth. And as a new brand, it really takes an extraordinary amount of effort to demonstrate that value in every product, because there is a opening benchmark of skepticism when someone is going to try our work for the first time, because there's already blends and brands that they like more. And so how do you connect with a retailer and with a consumer and get them to not only love your story so much that they're willing to share it, but then also demonstrate that whether it's a $7 Metropolitan or a $24 Elegancia or Generoso, that you are still on the winning end of the deal as a retailer and a consumer. That's a piece that takes, I have not figured out how to better tell that story other than the hand-to-hand combat that we've been doing.
Yeah. I like that. There's something, I don't know, personal. We've talked about it so much. It's that there's such a personal connection, relationship driven kind of thing. And it really makes a huge difference. Well, and Rich has a great point, about the great smoke. And that's another thing that you have really excelled at is you are a great ambassador for the industry. Even if Ferio Tego wasn't a thing, you are still a great ambassador for the industry. And what does that mean to you to be, not only part of, hosting the Great Smoke, but also, being somebody who is regarded as, spreading the love and the
Bro, it's a dream come true.
Industry. Yeah.
It's a total dream come true. I mean, this is an industry that I love so much, that I've loved from the moment I enjoyed my first cigar in 1998. I remember I actually spoke with the Bovida guys about this on a podcast. I can remember my first trade show like it was yesterday, and the sense of being awestruck in a room surrounded by the greatest and biggest names of the industry. And to now fast forward 25 years, to have you make a compliment like that about being an ambassador for industry, just looking at the contacts in my phone, knowing that, all of those greats are a text message away. It's just it's a real point of pride. I mean, when I think about Great Smoke is a great example. I've moderated panels during trade shows.
Yeah.
I just got a call today from the TAA asking if I would moderate a discussion between the retail members and the manufacturing members. It's just wild that these 25 years have culminated into this, I guess, an ambassador-like responsibility. And it is a responsibility I take very seriously. I mean, obviously, I have a lot of self-serving interests in building my business and building my company, but not at the expense of industry or the other people who have preceded me, or even those who are coming behind me. It's incumbent on all of us that we find the areas where we mostly agree, we amplify those areas, and in the areas where we disagree, then we civilly discuss them. That's how it should be. And I really love being able to help facilitate those types of discussions. I love being able to interview, other manufacturers and brand owners and celebrities and stuff at the Great Smoke. And I think I have a unique perspective because I was in retail for so long, because I was in manufacturing for so long, now as an owner. I've experienced all the sides of what makes our industry great, with the exception of farming. I've never worked on made a living in the agricultural side.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I've worked in all of them, and I feel very grateful to have had all those opportunities. and whenever the opportunity presents to help highlight and amplify the greatness of our industry and the greatness of the people who participate in it, it's my pleasure to do it.
Yeah, and that's what you said a minute ago is a good kind of philosophy for life in general. You know, that find the areas where you agree and, you know, focus on that, and then the areas where you disagree, agree on at least agree on a way that you can discuss those with civility and you know, pragmatism, and you know, still be good to one another. You know, I love
what
that.
we face as an industry is no different than what we face as a nation.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that is that largely we are all right here.
Yeah,
And the things that we read about and hear about the most are these two sections over here.
yeah,
And that's ridiculous. You know, I mean, we certainly experienced that through 2020, 2019, 2020, 2021, around FDA stuff and around other regulatory things. And there's still a lot of work to be done in that area. And there's still a lot of disagreement where it comes to a definition, or where it comes to what should or should not be exempt or protected, or this or that or whatever. But we all agree that handmade premium cigars are very different and should be treated different. Well, that's great. I mean, that's a lot of progress that we've made, that we can all say that.
yeah.
I just want to give a shout out to Ronnie. Thanks, buddy.
Ronnie. And I saw Michael. I saw you and Ronnie talking on I think it was Instagram or Facebook the other night. And
yeah, we did a Facebook the other night, and I think we're also doing a Zoom tomorrow night.
Yeah, and Ronnie's one of our favorite
Ronnie's
guys.
top
He's
notch.
just
But look, bro,
He's
I
a
can
riot.
I
I
can
love
zip through the comments in this feed if I could. And that's the other thing about being around this long, is I know almost all of them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could do a whole show just engaging with the audience, because I've had the opportunity and pleasure to meet all these people. My buddies Seth and Peter are both home in Northeast Connecticut, watching this from their little cigar club in Putnam, Connecticut. I mean, you know, these are people I grew up with that are watching along. Ronnie is a new friend, but God, I mean, he's become such a great evangelist for what I'm trying to do. He understands what Ferio Tego is, and even though we don't know each other well personally, you know, he gets it, and that's just it's just such a rewarding feeling to know that, you know, in these moments of, there's always moments of discouragement when you're trying to create something new, and it's very easy to let those consume the space of your emotions. But when you really look at it, again, that becomes toggling these fringes. But so many people are enjoying our work, and so many people love the blends, and so many people recognize how unique the blends are, and the fact that they really are different from what's currently in market, and that it is going to take time. But with friends and partners like those watching this, I am overwhelmingly confident in the bright future that Ferio Tego has in front of it. It's just not an easy path to get to. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Well, the kind of the last thing I wanted to touch on cigar wise is, and we've sort of touched on it a little bit, but going back to those kind of aspects that we talked about, you know, whether it's company setup or legal or marketing and distribution, all that stuff. When it comes to brand identity, you know, we've seen in the last, and I'm kind of shifting on the fly here from what I wrote down, but we've seen in the past few years, and really more than that, but it seems magnified in the last few years, where companies will kind of go through a rebranding, and they'll shift the look of their products and their packaging and things like that. And then sometimes you see, you know, maybe they'll even go a step further only 1 or 2 years later. And I just, as a consumer, you know, with my consumer hat on, I feel like sometimes that can become a little much for people in a brick and mortar humidor, or even shopping for cigars online. So do you feel like sometimes there's some overcorrection, like they veer off, the road with two tires, and instead of slowly bringing it back on the road, they just whip the wheel and go maybe a little too far? And is that maybe because in the beginning they weren't solid enough on kind of a visual strategy for the brand?
They didn't have a good foundation.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm not going to judge anyone's choices when you're trying to grow a business. I have course corrected, I've pivoted, I've rebranded, I've done all kinds of crazy things. It goes back to the why.
Okay.
If you believe that you have that you've made a critical error that needs to be repaired quickly, then do it. But make sure that you've followed it all the way through, because you can't do it again. You have to make the decision and then stick with it, and go all in with that decision. It's so hard to know, man. And again, it goes back to this idea of chasing ghosts. You think something's a great idea, and then you bring it to market, and the minute you see criticism, you say, shit, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this instead. And that's when you start doing this driving all over the road thing. You have to be deliberate in your decision making, and then you need to go all in on that methodology. A great example is Elegancia and Generoso. That was thought out, and I'm committed to the idea that this is an annual limited release. One size, 2 blends, packed in humidors of 10, period. Dated. And I have lots of people who will say, oh, you know what you should do? You should really do this and this. Or you should take the date off and you should do this. And you should, well, no, I shouldn't do that, because I'm so confident that this will be a continued success, that once we have another year or two of releases under our belts, then we can demonstrate what the model is by doing vertical tastings, by going back and tasting the library, by paying attention to and assessing the aging and the ageability of these blends over time. There's a method, there's a thoughtfulness to why we've done it. And if I responded to every wannabe cigar maker's advice, we would be driving all over the road. We're not.
Yeah.
We are laser focused on what we need to do. And for those brands that tend to be a bit more agile or a bit more responsive, that's also what's authentic to them. I'm not, as we started this, I'm not trying to launch new things every month. A lot of businesses do launch new things every month. That's just not my philosophy. I don't believe in having to tell a new story every month. I want you to tell my story again and tell it again and tell it again, and know that you can it's like having your favorite movie or your favorite song that when you're in the mood for X, there's only one song that you're going to scroll and find and hit play when you get in your car for a road trip or you're about to start working out. Like, you already have the song in mind. You're not going to discover a new artist in that moment. You want to turn to your favorite and know that it's going to be there exactly the way you want it to be. And that's our philosophy.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So we've talked about this on the show before, but David Floyd, who's a very loyal viewer, just for those who haven't seen previous episodes and don't know the story, give us the meaning behind Ferio Tego.
So in the image of Ferio Tego, which it's Hercules and the Hydra. And in the Herklots family coat of arms, which is probably going to be impossible to see, but you can see it on our website, in the shield of that image is Hercules striking the Hydra. And in the bottom of the image, it says Ferio Tego, which is the Herklots family motto on the coat of arms. And it loosely translates to strike and defend. And Hercules, as one of his 12 labors, if you know Greek mythology at all, he had to go kill the Hydra in order to defend his village of the evils that this Hydra was presenting. So Ferriotego is strike and defend. It's found in the Herklots family coat of arms, and it is the namesake of our company.
And I just realized something, and this is total by chance. I was looking back at How About That Cigar YouTube channel. The last time you were on, so tonight is episode 250 of How About That Cigar. The last time you were on How About That Cigar Live, not a trade show interview, but the big evening show, was episode 150.
Really?
So I think right now we're going to book episode 350. And of course, even sooner than that, because 100 episodes it's just too damn long. But
that's
definitely,
too long. How did it go? How did it go that long?
I think
it could have been the 48 weeks of travel last year.
I'm gonna go with that you were pretty much constantly living out of a suitcase. Yeah. But yeah, it's on the books, episode 350, whenever that may come.
That's great.
Unless it lands on any important family event. And honestly, if it does, then we'll just postpone episode 350 until all of us are free.
I love it.
Done on the books. All right.
I'll be calling you.
Is it time?
You think so?
I think it is. I think.
Yeah.
It's time. All right, guys. It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. Numero de los Muertos, brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
Honesty agree with the goat to tell you about Smoke Inn's Cigar of the Month Club. Every month, I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Every month, there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, you can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. We've made it super simple. All you gotta do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You want to take a break, going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. All delivered to your door for $34.95. 5 great reasons on what makes Smoking Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace.
All right. Numero de los Muertos, episode 250. The number is approximately 50,000 per year in the United States.
Per year in the United States.
Every year. This happens.
Yes. Average out to 50,000 every year.
Is it disease related?
It is not disease related.
Killed by your tailor.
Is it?
I think the only reason a tailor would kill you is for not paying the bill.
Is it self-inflicted, afflicted?
I think it could be, but that's not generally I don't think that's generally the cause.
Jesus.
Is it one? Does it generally just affect one person at a time?
Yes. That's an excellent question. That's a great question for this game.
Food poisoning?
Not food poisoning.
Is it related to firefighters?
It is not related to firefighters.
Car accident?
Not car accidents.
Tobacco?
You said it is not. It's not a disease, but it is an illness, or it's not an illness either.
It's not a disease or illness.
Tobacco beetles?
Not tobacco beetles.
This results in death, yes?
Yes.
These are 50,000 deaths a year?
Yes.
It results in 50,000 deaths. It results in many more hospitalizations than that, but it results in an average of 50,000 deaths per year.
Drinking and driving.
Not drinking and driving.
Is it skewed towards one sex versus another?
It is actually.
You can take that off now.
You don't like the Yankees fan self-flagellation?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
Let's see here. I have it. Males account for 65%.
Fireworks.
Not fireworks.
Bicycle.
Is it associated with a holiday or a season?
No, not a holiday or a season. It's not bicycle.
Risty in the house.
Risty. That's a risty answer. Having evidence on Hillary Clinton. I think the number is close to 50,000 per year on that risty, but not quite that high. But it's close.
How many syphilis cases in Ramsey County?
Wow.
Oh,
We said this is not an illness, sir.
Yeah, not an illness.
Alcohol involved? Drugs?
No.
Whoa.
Does it involve an animal?
Animals are not involved.
is this a workplace accident?
It could be, but it's not like a. Yeah.
Is there any fun related to it prior?
Yeah, there in a lot of cases, I think you would say that there is fun involved.
Alcohol and drug involved?
Is it at all sexual in nature?
No, not sexual in nature.
Drowning.
Not drowning.
What about not coming to a bonfire after cigar event?
Dax, yeah, we got a bone to pick with you about not coming.
You missed the good times
coming out after on Saturday, but no, it's not related to that.
And more hospitalizations.
How many steps
generally
fallen is what somebody said.
How many steps? No.
Okay.
All right, I'll give some generalized numbers. So on average, and it doesn't say how long, but I think it's in the last. I'm trying to scroll really quickly. In the last 22 years, average of 50,000 deaths per year. Nearly 300,000 hospitalized.
Salmonella.
No.
Sunburn.
Not sunburn.
Shark bites.
And
farming.
Falling from a tree.
Is it accidental? Meaning like
it's so some of them could be classified as accidents. Some of them would be classified as unintentional injury. If that makes any sense.
Does it involve bleeding?
No.
Gunfire accident?
Is it internal?
It's internal.
Is it immunological?
No. It's not diabetes. It's not gunfire accidents. It's not hunting. It's not falling from a tree.
And it's not a result of drinking or drugs?
Not a result of drinking or drugs.
Busted spleen?
Related?
Not spleen. What was that, Michael?
Medication related?
Not related to medications or anything like that.
Is it specific to either indoor or outdoor?
No.
Choking on food.
Not choking on food, not a gut punch, not things stuck in butts.
Well,
heart attacks. There's got to be more than that.
All right, think. This hint will probably be a giveaway. Think sports.
Concussions.
Yes. Concussions. Yeah. So TBI, traumatic brain injury. An estimated 2.8 million people sustain a TBI annually. Of those 2.8 million, 50,000 on average die. 282,000 are hospitalized. And 2.5 million, or nearly 90% of the 2.8, are treated and released from the emergency department.
And you can get a concussion falling on the stairs, as I think came up earlier. So it could be related.
Or falling out of a tree.
Could, yeah. Yeah.
Or not making it to my house in the weekend.
Good one.
So TBI is a contributing factor to 30% of all injury-related deaths in the United States. Every day, 153 people on average in the United States die from injuries sustained by a traumatic brain injury.
Wear a helmet, folks.
Most TBIs occur. Most TBIs that occur are mild. direct medical costs and indirect costs of traumatic brain injuries, such as lost productivity, totaled an estimated $60 billion in the United States. And that's way back in the year 2000.
Jeez.
So imagine what that is in 2024. So wear a helmet.
Wear a helmet.
Wear a helmet.
All
Especially
right.
if you're getting on that short bus here.
Yeah, I gotta wear my cigar. Well, I'm wearing my cigar helmet. You're not wearing your cigar helmet,
Oh man.
Raleigh. That's your cigar helmet.
That's my skull.
You're a firefighter. You know you got to wear a helmet when you're. Yeah. You're, excuse me. So that was this week's
Numero de los Muertos.
Good one.
All right, let's do the reveal on this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postani Cigars. So going back, I thought right away that I was like, I know what this is, because I thought I just drank it on Saturday night. But the more I have had sips of it throughout the night right now, it's similar. It's got a lot of similarities, but I think it's different. I get that some of that cinnamon back note flavor profile, but there's also there's a little bit of kind of a, I almost like kind of bright citrusy kind of thing going on along with that. So I think it's a little different than maybe what I drank on Saturday night, but it's got some similarities to it.
So here it breaks down to it's that Brazilian wood that they char and they age it in. So you have Penelope Rio, which is the top. It's going for a ridiculous price right now.
Yeah.
You have what you drunk, the barrel.
Yeah.
On Saturday. And now you have a cheaper version of it, more inexpensive, I shouldn't say cheaper, but
okay. So round one, small batch Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished with Brazilian Ambarana wood, 110 proof. This doesn't taste hot like 110 proof. This is really smooth.
So that Brazilian wood is what's giving it that spice and that little bit of cinnamon on it.
I dig it. Plus this one's got kind of that citrus thing.
And this is only $50 a bottle.
I will definitely be picking up a bottle of that. That's really nice. So yeah, thank you for that. It really reminded me, but after about halfway through the pour tonight, I was like, it's a little different, but it's honest. And now I'm probably going to look for anything with that Ambarana wood. That's Brazilian wood.
Like the new thing they're doing.
What was the brand? Round one.
Yeah, it's called Round One Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey. All right, let's jump into the lightning round, brought to us by our friends at J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 113-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com.
By the way, your advertisers, are some of the best people in the business.
We are so incredibly grateful. And they're so wonderful also to deal with.
Mike, it's just great.
Yeah.
So it's my job, but if you ever want to be one of those people on the show,
always be closing. ABC.
I look forward to the day where we can be.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. All right. So lightning round. Michael, you've been on the show. I think this is your fourth time on the big Monday night show. Maybe
I was gonna guess 4. It's definitely 4. It could be 5.
Yeah. So you've had a lot of our classic lightning round questions, but we do have some fresh ones.
Freshy.
So why don't you start with
mine?
Your new one.
So, Michael, there's a lot of fast food out there. What is your most overrated fast food and your most underrated fast food?
Overrated. Well, I am not a McDonald's fan at all. 0. Can't get through it. I just don't like it. I don't see what the appeal is. I think McDonald's is totally overrated, and I don't enjoy it.
We've gotten that a few times.
Underrated. Underrated. Oh, what's the chicken chain?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
No.
Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane's. I thought that was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was awesome. And there's not enough of them out there. The other one I'll tell you that's really good, that's here, I don't know if it's national, is Jersey Mike's.
Oh,
yeah.
We love Jersey Mike's.
That.
I think I resisted it for so long, thinking Subway was just good enough. But Jersey Mike's Way,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
killer.
I get the 55. That's the chicken Philly with jalapenos. Try it. You'll love it.
Compared to Jersey Mike's, Subway is dog food.
Yes.
Like actual dog food. So,
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. All right. So Raul said I should ask this question. I think it's a good idea because when we were Saturday night, Mike Rosales from Aromacraft was in the Minneapolis area, and we went to Ramsey Smoke Shop, had an event there, and then we went back to Raul's place and just enjoyed some cigars and conversation after that. And one of the questions I posed to kind of all the people in the room was, what's not even really necessarily, I mean, you can mention the cigar, but not, I want to know a cigar experience that like stands out in your mind as number one, that wasn't really about the cigar, that was about what was happening in your life, what had just happened in your life, that experience is like, the cigar could have maybe been just about anything cigar wise, but it was just that moment in time for you and if
you happen to be smoking a cigar at the time.
Yeah, that's just like the sunrise was just right, or just got whatever it could be.
Do a whole 2-hour segment on my most memorable cigar moments. I mean, we can go back. The very first cigar I ever had was obviously an incredibly meaningful moment because it turned into a career.
Yeah.
So that always stands out to me, is just that moment of discovery was like, wow. So that was 98. In 2002, I met Avo for the first time.
Yeah.
And I remember spending time with him, and I was 22. He was really like always in big conversations with the GM of the store, and I was just this, I was grateful to be a kid along for the ride, but it was difficult to connect with him. And then we started talking music, and once we started talking music, and I just graduated Berklee College of Music, that we had so much in common right away, that it forged a very unlikely close relationship with Avo that lasted, right till he passed away. And so I mean, there were lots of cigars with him, but we were smoking an original as it was being released, Avo 22, in 2002 at Club Macanudo with Avo, listening to music, talking music. That will always stand out to me. I'll do two more quick ones. There was a night, which I've shared this story before. There was a night where Manolo Quesada invited me for drinks during a trade show at what is now the Palazzo. I guess they had probably just opened, but everyone was at the Venetian, and we went over to the Palazzo, and we were hanging out, and it was just a table of legends. It was Manolo, it was Benji Menendez, Jose Sejas, Hanky Kellner. It was like the original Pro Cigar members, and they were gracious enough to have this conversation in English just so I could be a fly on the wall. And like any, typical whatever 25-year-old, I was not a fly on the wall. I kept inserting myself, trying to demonstrate some level of knowledge, to defend why I should even be there at the first place. And Manolo kept hitting me with his knee under the table every time I would like chime in. And I'm like, I was really getting pissed. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm trying to keep up here, And I mean, anytime they would say something, I'd like share 2 cents and he'd hit me again. And finally I'd look over and he just leans over to me and he goes, son, sometimes it's better to shut the fuck up and listen. And I was like, that is the most meaningful piece of advice ever. And that sticks with me to this day. And I couldn't tell you what we were smoking that night. It was probably one of Manolos, but that I would just remember it so clearly and it was so helpful. The last one, which is one of my absolute favorites, when I was 18, one of my first paid gigs as a musician was a Cigar Family Charitable Foundation dinner for Peretti's, which is a very famous retailer in Boston. And I was not working in the business yet. I was just a music student that started smoking cigars, and my quartet got hired to play this gig. And so I went up to Carlito towards the end of the night and introduced myself and said, I just started smoking cigars. And he corrected me that we don't smoke cigars, we enjoy cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if you enjoy cigars, let me give you what we're giving all the guests. He said, does your band like cigars too? And I said, oh, absolutely, which obviously they didn't. And he was handing out Opus X Perfection A's.
Oh.
And so he handed me 4 Opus X Perfection A's, and I subsequently stuffed them in my pocket and went back to the band, and I took them all home.
Hell yeah.
And I've never smoked one. I have all 4 of them in my humidor. So about 4 or 5 years ago, we were doing a big Cigar Family Charitable Foundation auction at Nat Sherman in New York. And as I always do, I bring some cool little warm-up things just to start the auction with before we get into the big lots. And one of my warm-up lots was one of these cigars. And I shared the story of when Carlito gave it to me and that I still had all of them. And, all these many years later, now he's such a dear friend and I can give back to his blah, 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 whatever. So we start the bidding and it's, I opened it up at $50. We were up 800, 900, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. It was like going bonkers. I don't remember what it went for. Could have been 1,200, could have been 1,600. And the room was full and everyone's going crazy. And we finally got it, last and final, sold. And I couldn't see who won it. And then Carlito is walking down the middle of the room and he walks up on the stage and he takes the cigar. And I was like, dude, that was you? And he's like, yeah. And he takes the microphone and he goes, listen, I gave you this fucking cigar before. Don't ever do that again. And he hands me the cigar back and strokes the check.
Oh, wow.
Which to me is just
That's
so
awesome.
emblematic of our industry.
That is
And
such
the
a
real
Carlito thing.
people that make our industry great are people with hearts like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But there's a million of them, bro. There's a million of them. I smoked a cigar, a real fast one. I did the wrap party for The Sopranos. And at the end of the night, and I smoked with everyone. And the only person I didn't get to hang with was Gandolfini. And I was a huge fan. And I was, well, it's a busy night. So I'm up in the top deck. It was on the Forbes yacht, downtown Manhattan. I'm on the top deck. We had just gotten done. It was like a busy day, then a busy night. I'm upstairs. I had a scotch and I was smoking. It was a Griffin's. I'm smoking a Griffin's and having a scotch. And this guy comes up from the back stairs and sits down right next to me. And it's Gandolfini. And I was like, oh my God. And he looks over and just points at my glass. And I was like, it's scotch. And he's like, I handed him my glass and he took a sip. And I mean, he was his character, like all of his mannerisms, everything he did was exactly that. And then he looks over, no words, and he just goes, I handed it to him. And exactly like he did on the show, he was like,
oh, nice.
takes a puff. And I was like, nice night. He's like, very nice. And then this woman comes running up the stairs. Jim, come on. We have to go. We need pictures, whatever. And he stood up, handed me the cigar and the drink, and he goes, fuck me. And he goes downstairs. I should have saved it all, but it was so great, man. It was just awesome.
Oh, I love it. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right, let's jump into notable smokables. Brought to us by our friends at Don Doroteo Cigars, a brand with both purpose and passion, dedicated to creating change from within. By developing their own land, they are able to own the entire process throughout the life cycle of the plant. They methodically carry out each step, ensuring that the final product is of the finest quality. The new Salt of the Earth lines, Piedra Viva and Piedra Angular, are available now at Don Doroteo retail partners. Visit dondoroteo.com to learn more. All right. So, Michael, notable smokables.
I want one more question for Michael before we go to notable smokables.
Oh, okay.
What do you think of Tito Puente?
Oh,
it's killer. I studied with a guy named Bobby Sanabria, who is a very famous Latin percussionist, who was he was a student of Tito, an actual literal student of Tito Puente, but then also like a real student of his music. So I had to study it in school. I think he's a master. I love the way he plays. I also love his showmanship on stage, that it wasn't just how musically he played, but it was the showmanship and the way he played, that he kept his audience so engaged, that he's a star.
Oh, absolutely. One of the I still remember I was in high school at the time, maybe junior high, when they and you may remember, you probably saw this back when it was on, Michael, the Dizzy's 70th birthday party they did at Wolf Trap, and big huge concert. I mean, everybody showed up from the jazz community, and Tito Puente was one of the performers that appeared in one or two of the tunes. And this was my first time seeing him. I was, 15, 16 at the time. This was 1980. I guess, yeah, now that I think of it, Michael, I'm 10 years older than you, but it was just incredible seeing him play for the first time up there with Dizzy and some of these just incredible performers. And that
probably Night in Tunisia.
It was. And him along with, and this was this big PBS special that, and him along with Dizzy and some of the other performers just like started my love for that Afro-Cuban style of jazz. And it's a love that I still have to this day.
Me too.
Yeah.
I don't play it well, but I certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, playing congas and all that is, I haven't played in years, but I used to love. I mean, I was never really a very good kit player, but auxiliary percussion like congas and things like that, I just had a better feel for it. And I just, gosh, he was one of my absolute heroes. I just loved watching him play.
Me too.
Yeah. So Michael, notable smokables. We've done this before. Cigar you've smoked recently that stood out to you. This, could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that you haven't smoked forever and all of a sudden just had one again. Or it could be a cigar that's brand new to the market. Obviously you're smoking mostly your own stuff, but I know you also like to, try out what some other people are doing. What's something you smoked recently that really stood out?
Two. The first one is Suma.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of this blend, and I'm so thrilled with how consistently people are loving it and experiencing it. I from the moment someone lights it, it's typically met with an immediate reaction. They look at it, they say something, it's from the first puff. And we worked really hard to create that and to maintain that. And the fact that it's delivering, I'm so pumped. The other is, I don't know what the blend actually was, but Hostos Fernandez and his factory La Isla is making some really incredible stuff. And he gave me a cigar at the show, which obviously I don't smoke cigars at the show, but his I lit up right away, and it was delicious. And I'm so happy for him. And he's making some unbelievable cigars. He's doing some private labels for catalogs. He's doing some stuff with Warped. He's got all kinds of cool stuff. And I'm just so happy for him. And if you've not smoked cigars from La Isla, you need to.
Yeah, he's
Absolutely. Got some fire out there.
Yeah, and Justin's totally right. It's honestly been like, I mean, we heard about him for a while, but in the last 18 months, it's like everybody's talking about him and what his factory is doing. Like,
has he been on your show?
No, not yet. That's something we really want to make happen. But yeah, he's just being talked about so like constantly in the last 18 months.
He's one of my best friends he's like a brother to me. I mean, I'm just so thrilled. And if his cigars sucked, I tell you, they don't. They're delicious.
Oh yeah. Justin, what's your notable this week?
I've had a couple, but I'm gonna go with the Tatuaje Black Petite Lancero that I had sitting around, probably 5-6 years old, I'm guessing. But that was good over the weekend. So had a night of relaxation.
Oh, nice.
Enjoyed that one.
Yeah, those age nicely.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. I've got some old ones in the humidor somewhere. We laugh. Raul's laughing at me. It's not fair. You know what mine's gonna be. You do yours though.
For the last 3-4 days, I've been smoking nothing but Roma Craft. Since he was here on Saturday, I want to get my shit in line with his whole line. And it's still my favorite cigar out of those guys. It's usually Wanderlust, but I smoked a Quinquagenare.
Yeah.
Again, that freaking cigar is so good.
Yeah, that collaboration
so
with Ernie Carrillo was a really nice blend.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice blend. Mine because what was also Roma Craft, not just because Mike Rosales was in town a couple days ago, but this Volstead, this is the box press Volstead. So it's and sorry, this print is really small. So the Volstead Noble Experiment, which is the 5x56 Gran Robusto Prensado. I had loved the Volstead, but this was the first time a couple days ago that I got to try this box press, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to get a handful of these and a handful of that. And Raul sees this bundle of these sitting there. He's like, Matt, you got to buy the whole bundle. I'm like, yeah, but I'm keeping things
just
simple.
buy it, Matt. Buy this.
And this guy, this devil on my shoulder, he's like, just buy the bundle. You're going to regret it if you don't.
Good.
So of course I bought the bundle. And I opened up the bundle, I fired one up, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad I bought the bundle. Because there's something about the blend. Like I said, I enjoyed the blend before a lot, but then there is something about this blend in this box press.
Yeah.
It really, I don't know. I just like it a lot. And it's a good, it's not expensive. It's $10.50 cigar. So definitely enjoyable. So yeah, thank you for
talking you into it, twisting your arm,
forcing me to spend money on the bundle. That was definitely the right decision. All right, let's jump into coming attractions. Coming attractions brought to us by Hoagland Insurance. They are excited to serve and educate any new customers and give existing customers a refresher, whether it's a business policy, auto insurance, home policy, or life insurance. If you are currently insured or just looking for a quote, Tony Hoagland and his team would love to create a personal price plan just for you. Mention How About That Cigar when you make your first appointment, and Tony will have a free cigar just for you. And as a matter of fact, it will actually be a Roma Craft Volstead. If for more information, please call 763-421-4900 or visit ChamplinInsurance.com. All right. Here is what we have coming up the rest of the beautiful month of July on How About That Cigar Live. So on July 8th, we have Daniel Lance from Domain Cigars. And on July 22nd, we have Dwight Atkins from Fat Ash Cigar Lounge in Asheville, Kentucky.
Great spot, bro.
Oh, my gosh. Love that place.
That is part of our Hidden Gems
Part of our Hidden Gem series.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did a great event there, and I'll tell you something, man. There is a culture in that shop.
Yes.
That it's hard to describe. You walk in and it's so welcoming. It's so positive.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. The word I use is generosity, and it's not like generosity like you're going to walk in and get free stuff. That's not what it's about. It's about like generosity of spirit, and it's just it's just great people in that lounge. And then closing out the month of July, we're still working on the personnel, but it will be the 5th edition of the Cigar Industry Hive Mind.
Ooh.
So always a very, very long show.
Hive Mind.
So when you guys watch the show on the last Monday night in July, just know we'll try to work in bathroom breaks. We'll try to work in meal breaks because these are long shows. So pack a lunch and get ready to have your mind blown with cigar industry information you didn't know you needed, basically. So definitely pack a lunch for that. Michael, thank you again for being on the show, brother. If you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Föto?
You can follow Föto on all platforms at Föto, except for X, formerly known as Twitter, which is Föto Cigars. And you can follow me at Michael Herklots on everything. And if I can ask, if you enjoy our cigars, or even if you enjoyed this show, take a picture and post it or share it with a friend, tag, mention. We need the authentic endorsement and amplification of our brand and our story. And there's no better way to do it than with the folks watching and listening at home.
Absolutely, brother. It is always an honor and a pleasure to talk to you, man. It's just, we have a blast, learning from you and laughing with you. So, brother, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Brother, you made my night.
Likewise. Appreciate you guys. Have a great 4th.
Absolutely. You as well, sir. For all our viewers and listeners, guys, thank you so much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We are so grateful for you hanging out with us tonight on Facebook and all the other platforms. Take just a minute, please. Click on all those beautiful buttons so you don't miss anything that we have going on with How About That Cigar. Of course, if you have questions for us, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at HBT Cigar, and include in that your favorite audio podcast platforms. And we have some lovely How About That Cigar hats that we would love for you to share the burn cigars, not bridges mantra out there in the world of premium cigars. So these hats not only have the How About That Cigar logo on the front, they have the beautiful hashtag burn cigars, not bridges on the side. We have these hats in a lovely blue and a lovely black color. Those hats are available for $25 plus $5 shipping. So if you want to purchase one of those hats, please send me an email, matt@howaboutthatcigar.com, and I will be happy to get one of those hats out to you. But thanks again, guys, for being with us. And of course, until we see you guys next time, don't forget, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys. Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.